Hi, welcome to my video. I want to say it's number 16 at this point. I can't even remember. Um, so if you're tuned in today, this is really a rant that I'm going to have. There might be explicit language. It all depends on how this conversation goes. And part of it is that I am so upset about what's happening in society today, not just in politics, but with all these mass shootings and the availability of guns. Um, and I'm a Second Amendment advocate. I think people should have the right to own guns as long as they're registered. I don't think anyone needs an AK-15 or any assault rifle, because what are you doing? What are you doing with it? That's not necessary. We're not having people attack your homes, and there's no civil war going on and stuff like that in the sense of how it used to be. So you don't need that gun. Yes, you can have a gun for personal protection, and as long as it's registered, as long as you don't have any other issues that would prevent you from getting a licensed gun, that you've taken classes on how to shoot a gun and all of that, have it. It's your right and you should do it. However, when you take a gun and go into a nightclub and just randomly shoot people, or you go into a Walmart and begin to shoot at people, something is wrong with our society. And it starts at the top. It starts with the politicians who are using religion to say that people should not be a certain way, or they're using religion to separate us one from the other. We used to have a country that believed in democracy, that believed that all human beings were created equal. And they're using the Bible as their weapon, when God's first law is to love each other as I loved you. And so how are we loving each other? How are we doing that when we're killing people, or we're judging them based on how they live their lives? So it's just ridiculous. Like, we're so desensitized to the things that go on, that it happens today and we're all, oh my God, that's terrible. Tomorrow it's like, oh yeah, that was yesterday's news. It's like we don't carry it with us anymore. When we were kids, if something major happened, that was traumatic. I mean, we lived with that event for months, if not years. And you would recall somebody say, hey, remember what happened then? And everybody could tell you in detail what happened. Nowadays, it's like, it's done, it's over, we forget about it. It's just news for the moment. And so how do we get ourselves, our country, back on track? How do we get back? If you want to use the Christian beliefs, fine, use the Christian beliefs. How do we get back to that notion that we need to love each other? How do we get back to that notion as we are all human beings? So whether you choose to love someone of a different sex, whether you aren't sure what you are, or you are, whatever it is, I don't even care. Look, live your life the way you want. That's the way I feel. As long as you're not telling me what to do with my life, I'm not going to tell you what to do with yours either. Like, we make these decisions where we're the judges of other people's lives, and we can tell them how they should be doing, and yet our lives are so fucked up that we don't even know what the heck to do with our lives. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's why we then decide to choose to pick on other people and tell them what to do, because we don't want the mirror in our face. It's like that song, one of my favorite songs, The Man in the Mirror. Take a look at yourself, and then you can pick on other people. But it's like every news cycle we hear these horrid stories. The story of those college kids, the girl that went to Mexico and the friends supposedly, allegedly said she had alcohol poisoning. Then it turns out she had a broken neck and spine injuries and everything else. How is that your friend? How is that your friend? Your friend should take as good care of you as your family. Your friend should be looking out for you. Your friend should not be beating you up as a joke or whatever was going on in there. I'm not even sure. How did we get so that will come out soon. Desensitized. You know what I mean. But how do we get to that point where we see these things happening and we might say, oh, that's terrible. But then we go on with our lives. We don't do anything about it. We let politicians decide, white men decide what we're going to do with our bodies, women. White men decide whether we can have an abortion or not. Whether a little child who's 10 years old that was raped should have an abortion or not. That is not for them to decide. I don't care. There has to be a separation between certain things, and people should decide for themselves the choices they make for their own bodies. That to me is number one. You can't have people saying crazy stuff like that. This whole notion here in Florida where they want to hide the facts that happened and not upset people because, let's not tell the little white kids that slavery happened. Let's not tell the little white kids about the Holocaust. Let's not upset them. Let them think the world is nice and happy and wonderful. Say the truth, because unless you say the truth, history will repeat itself. And whether we have another Holocaust, in a different way. I mean, we had slavery. Now we want to say, oh, slavery wasn't so bad. And then we have people like Kanye who'll say, well, slavery was a choice. Really? What choice did a slave have to say, you know what? I'm done with this. I want to go. Could they do that? Could a slave say that, Kanye? No. And now you're crying about Adidas taking your money. It's about money. Everything is about money. Everything is about money. So you don't want the little white kids to feel bad. But yet, all the people of color don't need to know their history, don't need to know what happened. And part of it is to say, oh, that's a lie. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that horrible. First of all, we weren't there. We were not there. So we have to take the account of people who actually lived through it. And I believe the words that have been written, things that have been said. So how are people going to say it wasn't that bad and it was a choice? And it didn't happen in the way that they said it happened. We still have people who survived those times. There are still Holocaust survivors. There are still people around with the tattoos, the numbers on their wrists. How are we to say that we're not? How are we to say that being gay is wrong? Who are you to make those decisions? Like, I'm so fed up right now. I really am. And I'm fed up with our government. I'm fed up with our politicians. I'm fed up with, good God, just about every single thing. Even here in Florida, I'm going to tell you what I'm fed up. Most of you might know this, or I might have said it. But anyway, originally we're from New York, and I think I've said that. We moved to Florida about 6 years ago. We love it. We love Florida. The weather. The people. We have never had an incident in our 6 years with any person at all, saying something inappropriate with us. Everyone that we met has been friendly, caring. Our neighbors, we love them. They love us. And yet, we live in a state that is oppressive. We live in a state with a governor that is refusing to allow therapy for children that are transgender, that is refusing to allow books to be read in the classroom, that is refusing to even have conversations about history. So one of the things that I notice is a lot of times on Facebook, when people write, oh, I just moved, like they'll move to the town we live in. And somebody will say, oh, we don't need any more people moving here. We don't need any Northerners coming with their liberal ideas. We don't need this. We don't need that. And I told my daughter the other day, I'm waiting for the next time I see that, because I'm going to respond to those people. You don't need people to come to Florida. Florida is doing so well. We have a majority, I think, of seniors that live in Florida. And yet your governor and your Congress people want to get rid of Medicaid and Medicare, and Social Security. And apparently you're happy with it because you voted them back in. So what is it that's going on? Like, what mentality do you have? You don't need the Northerners. The Northerners are moving here with their pensions. The Northerners are moving here and buying new homes. The Northerners are moving here and influxing your tax base with money. And yet you have the nerve to say you don't want Northerners coming in with their liberal ideas. So I'm just like fed up with everybody at this point. And yet the truth is, like I said, I have not met one person that has caused me to be mad at them, to cause me to, answer in an ugly way. Everyone that I have met in Florida has been lovely. I can't, I wish I could say, oh yeah, they're not. They're not. I haven't met them. Maybe behind closed doors, and maybe that's it. That behind the closed doors, people are different. If you really feel that way, then be that way all the time. Be about it. Like we used to say that, if you're going to do it, be about it. Don't play around. Do it. Do it. Do it. And then see what happens when you're honest and open. Instead, we go behind closed doors, we start thinking, we start reading, we start listening to all of these politicians and people that say these crazy things, and then what happens? Now our mind starts to work, and then we go out with a gun and decide to shoot people. You elected a president the last time who was an alleged rapist. You elected a president who said it right on tape that he grabs women's pussies. You elected a president that didn't pay taxes, and then you want to elect him again. So what Christian values did he bring to the country? What Christian characteristics did he give us to follow? Nothing. We had a criminal to follow, an alleged criminal. Let's say that, because I don't want Trump coming after me. But an alleged criminal who was impeached twice, even though it didn't pass, but there was an impeachment process twice, and tried to get Pence hurt, his own vice president, and yet these are the people we follow. We follow him. We follow DeSantis. We follow Marco Rubio. We follow Margie Taylor Greene. We follow Boebert. Or Bobbitt, whatever the woman's name is. But those are the people we follow. And the ones that make sense, we don't follow. The Republicans are mad because the Democrats had control. Now that they have control of the House, that they could be doing all of these wonderful things that they say they will be doing for us, what are they doing? They're going after Hunter Biden's laptop. I don't care about Hunter Biden's laptop. I don't care about any of that stuff. I care about living in a country that's safe. I care about lowering our taxes. I care about continuing my Social Security, my Medicare. Those are the things I care about. The things that I work for, that I deserve, that I should continue to have. I care about my neighbors living in peace, regardless of who they are or who they love or what beliefs they have. I don't care. So I don't understand what happened to our country and the people that I grew up with. I don't know what happened, because it's even in my generation. I hear it and I see it, when I read statements or I watch the TV. So how do we get back? How do we begin to take our country back and say, this is not what I want. This is not the choices that I need you as a politician to make for me. And when do we stand up for the truth and say, stop with the lies, stop with the bullshit, because that's what it is. It's all bullshit, because McConnell's concerned about everything, but meanwhile, he and his wife are busy, allegedly, making tons of money. Even Democrats, too. I'm not just blaming the Republicans. Like, when is it gonna stop? When are they going to be for the people? And when are we going to stand up for ourselves?